Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to Real Estate and Other Stuff on KHTS 1220 AM and 98.1 FM and on Facebook Live. Hey, everybody.
You got it right this week.
I did. You know what? I'm your friend in the real estate business, Phil Nordella, hopefully, and Taylor Williams-Moniz is your favorite real estate attorney, among other things.
Thanks.
Among a lot of things.
You're very nice.
Yeah, no, come on. You're such an overachiever.
And you know we have such a treat today.
Oh, I know.
Andrew's
here.
I'm here. Hello, guys.
Yes,
so
hi.
excited.
We have El Jefe.
I know.
That's
Oh
right,
my,
I'm
come
here.
on.
Hey, guys.
Yeah, there he is. You know what? This is a first.
Andrew usually comes in when we do something wrong or
Yes.
something is broken.
Are we being punished?
I don't think so.
Is he
No,
going
He
to
doesn't
tell us?
seem
Good
like it.
things.
Yeah,
Is
he
it-
Oh,
seems
it is
happy.
good. Oh,
Yeah,
good.
yeah,
I was afraid he was going to stop and say, "Okay, now we need to talk,"
Yeah.
and we'd be like, "Well, do we want to do it on air? Or do you want to do
He's
it?"
smart. He wouldn't do that on air with a lawyer.
No. Oh. Well,
Look
that
at him.
makes
He's
sense.
like, no.
I learned.
So I learned. So it's all good. I love that. All right.
Very fun.
Well, hey, let's just bring them up to speed and let them know that Taylor Williams-Moniz obviously is full partner of Donahoe, Young and Williams,
Yep.
and they are the premier attorney firm in Santa Clarita. She specializes in real estate law, which I love, business litigation and estate planning, and I specialize in getting you moved from one home to another. I actually wrote that. I specialize in getting you moved from one home to another with seamless transition.
Well, you're not wrong.
No, that's true.
Yeah.
But I forgot I wrote it.
I like it.
I
It sounds
never-
good.
I actually haven't
And
gotten
I'm
down
glad
to it.
you did because I was thinking, like, I never do a nice reciprocal introduction of you because you just talk and I don't want to,
Yep.
interrupt you that much.
Yep.
So I'm
and then
glad
I've got
you said that.
down here written, and then there's Patrick. But no, it's not. And
Yeah.
then there's Andrew,
I know.
which is awesome. Which is awesome. So the nice thing is he's actually
fun
out there. He
change.
got a bigger, better deal when it came to this week, and he's
I
working
guess.
the home and garden show, which is
I
awesome.
don't know. I think I got the better deal.
I think
though.
you did
I
for
love it.
sure.
I love it.
agree.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're
that's
way
awesome.
more fun.
Oh.
Next time they'll do it on a show where I bring in champagne. That happens every
Yes.
once in a while.
Okay.
So I'll let you know
Yeah.
next
Give
time.
me the heads up, and then I'm like, Patty, you got an
Yeah, Patty,
assignment to
sorry,
do that Friday.
Exactly. Upstairs.
Send him,
in
send
the
him
back,
somewhere. Send him anywhere.
on location.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay, couple of shout outs though. This is really important.
Yep.
Chris Kulka, who I love her to
Yes.
death. I love Chris and Michael Kulka. They're just awesome. We've
She
been working
likes
together
me
forever.
'cause I keep you in
d-
line. That's the only reason.
That's true. That's true. She's constantly texting us saying, "You know what? Quit. You got to get back online when it comes to real estate."
She is wonderful.
Yeah, she's terrific. Well,
Very
guess what? She
helpful.
had surgery yesterday, and she had it on her knee.
Wow.
She needed it. She'll
But
even admit it.
She needed
Oh,
it.
look at you.
You did it and you didn't even
Yeah,
know it.
I'm going to
Yep.
take credit for it though.
I think you should.
Yep. Anyway, guess what? It went well.
Okay, good.
It went well. Chris, we love you. We're thinking about you.
Absolutely.
And I'll just stop talking because I'll probably start crying. So I'm not going to do
Don't
that. So
cry.
no, God, what a sissy.
No, it's
Okay.
cute, but
so
you cry and then I don't cry and then I look like a jerk because I should cry and I'm
Heartless.
just not a cry. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's not a good look.
it's funny
So-
when Judy and I actually do that. Sometimes, we'll be watching something and I'll like start tearing up and I'll grab a Kleenex and I'll look at her and she's not and I'll look and I'll just go heartless.
Yeah.
You're just heartless.
Judy, I feel you. I'm the same way.
That's so funny.
Well, Chris, get better soon.
Inflation. What the heck?
I don't want to talk about it.
You know what? It hit me the first time, and this is going to be embarrassing. It hit me the first time this week.
Okay.
I actually went to McDonald's. I know it sounds silly, right? But I went to McDonald's
need
and I
more
got
information.
I got a Big Mac, a number one,
Okay.
right, with a medium Coke.
Okay. Did
And
you get a real Coke?
yeah. Well, I don't know what that means.
We just were having a conversation before the show about how we both need to lose weight.
Oh.
And now he's telling me he went to McDonald's and got a real Coke.
Yeah.
So I'm eyeing him.
And I got a large order of fries. Okay, so large order of
I
fries.
mean, if you're going to do it, do it.
Right.
You know, that right at that point, Andrew
Yeah.
agrees. Yeah.
so
well.
so
Yeah.
and a fillet of fish because that's not enough for me, right? Because I do
Wait,
tend to
isn't
eat a
that
lot.
called the land and sea or something
Oh.
when you put them on
Yes,
top of
it's,
one another?
Oh
sea
no!
and land
Oh,
combo,
It's a
something.
thing,
God,
right?
that's so gross.
Well,
no,
you
they've got to
did
be.
it.
No, they ended up in the same place, but it was two separate
Okay,
meals.
but it was
okay?
an expensive filet o fish. Is that what
Well,
you're
I was
saying?
figuring, getting ready when I drove up, the lady was going to say that's $9.77.
So you had like a 10 ready.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly right. And she goes, it's $15.50, and I went,
That's high.
what?
I would.
And
yeah,
I go,
that's
no,
high.
you must have got it wrong. And I said, it's just a number one with and she goes, a number one with filet of fish. And I said, yeah. And she goes, regular Coke. And I yeah. And she goes, $15.50.
Did you weep them? Did
I
you
go,
need a Kleenex?
how much is a number one? And she said, like $11.
You're
and
haggling
I went,
with a woman
no,
that collects your money?
no, I still thought it was wrong. I'm $15.50. Like, no, it was quite the
Crying from
surprise.
laughter.
So,
we
damn.
we talked about this a week ago and 2 weeks ago because Sherry Young, my office manager, was saying she went to the store and she noticed that it was significantly more expensive, right? And like Greg and I went to the store and it was the same thing. Like eggs were how much, but I'm glad the filet-o-fish is what caught your attention.
Thank God I don't shop for our stuff when it comes.
Right.
Judy every Saturday morning she goes to the store and she gets what she needs, and
But so
I don't even want to ask her how much it
inflation
is.
is a thing, and I know we're going to talk about interest rates and all kinds of fun stuff. But
So
yeah.
I guess it is. I guess they're not lying about it. Inflation is a thing.
Yeah. So
Yep.
no more McDonald's for you.
Nope. Nope. Okay, another shout out here. I'd like to Jeff Brandolino, my friend of mine. It's his birthday today.
Oh.
I have no idea how old he is. He could be anywhere from 30 to 50, but
There
he
you
just
go.
looks
And you
great.
know
And
what?
I'm guessing he's
You
like
don't
20.
really need to say people's age, so that's fine.
But I wanted to do it by the numbers. You know, when it
Andrew's
came
laughing.
to by the numbers. You know?
SCV. By the numbers.
See? I wanted to do it there, and those are numbers.
Well, just say he's having another birthday.
Do you have any numbers for us?
I do.
What?
My little one is 9 months old today.
Oh.
I know. I
Cameron.
never thought I'd be that mom. Like, my baby's 9 months. And now I'm not like annoying creep. Like Greg this morning was like, we have a 9-month-old. And I'm like, oh my God, he spent as much time out as he did in. Like, oh, I'm so annoying. But he's really cute. And I don't know, it's just fun.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
He's at
Oh,
a fun
yeah.
age where I'm like, all right, you're cool. And I mean this in the nicest of ways. If he ever hears me say this, like, I love you, son. But like, man, you were a lot for the first couple months of your life. But now I'm like, okay, I can put you in your little, Greg and I call it the cage of confinement, but it's like, it's a playpen. But we call it the cage of confinement.
You know.
I hope he's listening. And it has toys and like all kinds of fun stuff. And we just, we watch him, obviously, but I don't have to like sit there and like, what are you doing? And like, and so he's cool and he talks to us and he's like, his big thing right now is like, hi. He does that. So.
Let's hope CPS isn't listening, because
No,
you know,
lots of
put him
people
into
have
the
a-
cage in confinement.
Dude,
It doesn't sound good.
I was born in the late 80s. Like, I don't even know what my parents did with us, right? Like, some foolishness, and they got away with it. So,
oh yeah. Yeah,
you know.
It's funny because Judy would talk about her dad, and they had 6 kids, right, just like we had. And she said, "Oh, it was interesting. Yeah, we'd go in the back of a truck, and then we'd all sit in the back of the truck and go to the drive-in, or he would want to go to a party with my mom. She said my mom, and so he would actually just park us on the street and lock the doors and crack the window, and we just actually stayed in the car while he was at the party.
And the fun thing is, like, they didn't have Nintendo Switch or, like, whatever, iPads and stuff like that, right? So, like,
Yep.
what were they doing in there?
I don't know.
I'm impressed. Like, that's...
Yeah.
I
And
wish we could do that, but no, not with our son.
Just
But
crazy.
yeah, he's 9 months.
Crazy what we get
so-
away with. So,
Good
okay,
stuff.
another thing by the numbers here is awesome is active listings.
Tell me it's going up, or else I'm going to need a Kleenex for weeping.
Oh, guess what? You're not going to need a Kleenex.
Good.
So 9 weeks ago,
Okay.
I said 177 listings.
Got
9
it.
weeks. Then it got into the 200s.
Finally.
It was like, oh boy.
Yeah. Whee!
Today, active listings as of this morning is 314.
I was more than it
Loving
was
that.
yesterday. That's good.
Yep.
314. Greg, if you're listening, this is good news for us.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
19 coming soon to a total of 333, which is but see, 2 things are happening. Number one is it's getting out there. It's like, okay, maybe we've topped the market. Maybe things are going to start coming down. And that times the fact that we're going into the busy season is made it to where I could see us probably within a month having 400 listings.
Dude, as a buyer, I'm here for it.
Yep. You're going to love that. That's actually
Yep.
a really great
Are
thing.
any of these like big developments, or are they mostly?
Nope.
Do you know what I mean?
Nope.
No.
just
So,
individuals.
That's good.
Yep. Just
I
individuals.
like that even better.
Yep, I like it too.
Mm-hmm.
One of the interesting things, and then we'll actually get into real estate because I know Chris Kulk is probably going.
that was
"God,
real
could-"
estate?
Well, that was.
Okay.
We'll get into more, but I wanted to hit on Social Security. I checked into Social Security. Judy gets it in June, right?
Okay.
And so I checked into
Talking
it.
about mentioning people's age.
I
rude.
did. Yeah. She's 66,
Anyway,
but it's
okay.
got to be 66 in 4 months, and so.
Judy, I'm sorry.
Here's the interesting thing about Social Security. It started in 1935, right? And by
did not know
1940, that every single person that was on Social Security, actually, for every person that actually got Social Security, for every one person that got Social Security, there were 160 people paying in. So there was a lot, right?
That's funny.
The other thing that I found
Well, that's
interesting
great, but yeah, no.
that they made it to where you couldn't get it at the beginning to age 65. Do you know what the life expectancy was at that time?
42.
62. They had it covered.
Much younger,
right?
yeah.
They had it covered.
And
right?
then whoops.
Yep.
Yep.
Interesting. So anyway, so those are
Greg and I don't even think about Social Security when we think about retirement. Like, we're just assume there's going to be none left, and so we don't even factor that into our retirement plan. So
so
that's fun.
you won't need it. You won't need it. You'll be fine.
Yeah, because we're gonna buy a house, keep it, rent it, buy another house.
But it's interesting because when you said, all of a sudden I've got a 9-month-old and it's like, holy cow, he's been outside more than he's been inside, which I found interesting. I did the same thing with our kids, right? It was like when we had our 3 boys, it was like, oh my God, I'm going to have a son that's 10. That's 2-digit, double digit. I'm going to have a kid in double digits. Then the big milestone was having a teenager.
Right.
And then it was like, holy cow, okay, that's bad. And then it was 21. I got a 21-year-old. He's an adult. Oh my God. Now it's 40. My kid, in a couple of years, Chris will be 40. Can you believe that? Unbelievable.
He's older than me, thank God.
Unbelievable.
So that's all I have to say. But yeah,
that's
but you look
true.
great.
That's
Just stop with
true.
the fillet of fish.
Oh, I can have the hamburger, but I can't have
That's
the
fine.
filet fish?
Yeah,
Okay, cool.
I'm suspect of the fillet of fish.
Okay, here goes some more numbers. Home prices
we got?
soared 20% annual in February. Analysts say we've peaked.
Okay. Should we-
Prices grew at the third fastest annual pace in 35 years, according to the U.S. National Home Price Index. Okay,
At
released
the third
Tuesday.
fastest annual pace in 35 years. That's
Amazing.
A lot.
Absolutely amazing.
And
Home
that's how long
prices-
I've been alive, since we're all sharing how old we are. So that's a lot.
Such a baby. Babies having babies. That's what you are.
Hardly.
Home prices surged 19.8% higher in February than at the same time last year, according to the numbers released Tuesday as part of the S&P Core Logic Case-Shiller U.S. National Home Price Index. Jeez,
Don't say that 3 times. Nope,
My
don't.
goodness,
Nope.
we won't have time.
Nope.
There's an even faster annual pace than the 19% year-over-year increase recorded the previous month. Meanwhile, monthly home prices rose 1.9% in February, capping off the third highest annual gain in 35 years. Now, they are saying, though, as we move through the spring housing market, we are seeing clear signs of cooling demand,
Thank goodness.
which is a good thing. Many buyers are deciding to take a step back and reevaluate their budgets and timelines. The silver lining to the moderation of transactions, that markets seem to be stepping back from the overheated environment of the past year.
I feel like I'm mimicking this because Greg Agig and I did that exact same thing. Like we took like 6 weeks off because we're like, okay, this is insane. We need to like figure it out now that the interest rates are up. What are we actually like? Let's rejigger our budget. We did exactly this.
It beats
so-
you up. It really
Yeah.
does. Because here's the problem. The problem is you get excited about something.
I
You look at it and you
know.
go, I could live there. And then you start
Yeah.
picturing yourself there. And then you go for it and you don't get it. And it's
And then
like,
there's 17 other people that are like, nene.
they're saying
Yeah.
the same thing. And unfortunately, and you just have to realize that the person that gets it is the one that actually bids the most, right? So
Right.
that's just the way it works. And it's kind of messed up. But there is a saying, though.
Okay.
You don't wait to buy real estate. You buy real estate and wait, which is true. Yeah, yeah. How do you like that one, huh?
Over a year
That's-
in,
that's
and you're
deep.
just now dropping that knowledge. That's a good one. No, I like that. I'm serious. That's
Yeah.
a good one.
Yep,
Because that's people's question. Should I wait? Should I buy? No.
I was shocked when we finally found a house because we had looked for over a year and we couldn't find a house that we wanted to buy. We were living in Valencia North and we wanted to move over closer to my office, which was on Lyons, and also get closer to Hollywood because Nick was running 3 or 4 auditions as a kid every week. And so Judy wasn't working at the time, so she was running him to Hollywood 3 or 4 times a
Yikes.
week, and it was tough,
Yeah,
right?
that's a lot.
We completely destroyed a Plymouth Navigator.
Yeah.
You know? Oh, it was a great
I know
car,
what that
but it was
is.
like, oh boy. So anyway, so we finally found the house, and they were asking $50,000 over the house price of the last most expensive house in that tract. $50,000. Now remember, it was $550,000 at the time, but that was $50,000 more, and I thought, this is
yeah.
ridiculous. I paid it, and I'm glad I did. Because
a really
if I
nice
wouldn't
house.
have, somebody else would have done it.
Absolutely.
So that's fascinating. Okay, here's another thing. Zillow changes his tune on 2023 home values and sales. Here's why. Zillow now
favorite.
expects home value growth to reach 14.9% through March 2023, down from its value of his previous estimate of 16.5% growth. Well, what's with this downgrade? Okay, well, let's just see. As the Federal Reserve has continued to increase mortgage rates over the last few months, online real estate portal and research firm Zillow on Wednesday issued a downward revision of anticipated home value growth and sales over the next several months as home buyers battle affordability. Zillow now expects home value growth to reach 4.9% through March 2023, down from its expected estimate of 16.5% growth. Now, doesn't this seem like it's contradictory to what we just talked about?
Sort of.
Yeah, they're all over the place. I mean, it says here that...
But think about it. If you have enough articles predicting it in every which way, you're going to be right.
well, that's true. Yeah.
Hey.
And Zillow's coming
Just
off of a
saying.
really bad thing when it came to their estimates, right?
know.
So I'm not sure whether I would give them that much credence when it comes to them picking stuff.
I wonder. I mean, it's interesting. I wonder if the general population, public people like Greg and I, who are looking to buy a house and sell a house and whatnot. I don't read. I mean, I read this stuff because I'm on the show, but I talk to you. Like, I have more confidence in the agent that I'm using. That's your job to know all of that information, and you do, which is wonderful.
And it's because I'm in the trenches, right?
You are.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Not to mention I'm in the trenches. Plus, I have to know all of these things for our show too.
Right.
So the nice thing about this show is I've learned more about this business than I've ever known when it comes to the other side of it,
There you go.
which is cool.
Yeah.
So I like it. So anyway, there's more to this article,
Yeah.
but you get the drift, right?
Yeah, it's just a lot
Yep.
of content to take in, and it's ever changing. So
Now,
Yeah.
there's
we kind
something.
of disagree about this one, which never happens. We have a difference of opinion-ish. So if you want to do it now,
Yeah. Do you want to do
and then
it?
we can fight and haggle during the commercial.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I like
it.
that.
Okay.
2 out of 3 falls. Okay. Judge in Realogy Compass suit steps down due to Compass dispute. Now, interesting. I'm going to backdate this by saying that Realogy has been suing Compass for the last 3 years.
Right.
And there's been a judge, right? You have a judge. Now, while they're
And
suing
we've
them,
talked about it. Yeah.
they're saying this is what Compass did wrong. They came out and they actually went after all of Realogy. And remember, Realogy is all of those different companies like Coldwell Banker and Better Homes and Garden and 21st Century 20, all of those, right?
Yeah.
And
said it
also,
correctly.
and so anyway, all of those companies, they're saying that Compass people went out because they had a ton of money, and they'd walk into your office and they say, "Hi, I know you have an office, but I'm going to talk to one of your agents, and I'm going to actually offer them something." Now, of course, I'm not telling you this, but what they did was behind the back of the broker owner, and they offered them a huge amount of money to actually leave. They say, we'll give you a signing bonus of this, we'll give you this, we'll give you this, we'll give you $4,000, credit for business cards. It's like, what? And so they took a lot of people. So Realogy finally said, enough is enough. You can't do it anymore. You can't keep stealing. So they started.
Enter lawsuit.
Exactly right. So now for the last 3 years, that's been going on. So New York Supreme Court Justice Barry Ostriger
It's a good name.
recused himself from the long simmering case on Tuesday, 3 months after his co-op went under contract with a Compass broker.
Okay.
Okay, which means he's the judge, and he actually decides, which is where we kind of part ways.
I'm ready for you.
I like it. I like it. This judge says, "Hey, guess what? I listed with Compass." Which I think that's the weird thing.
The co-op did.
Yep. And so because of that, then he said, now we're having a problem with Compass, and now we're in some kind of a dispute with them, so I'm going to recuse myself from this.
Yeah. So that's the right thing. But
Yeah.
you think that it's strange that A, he didn't do it sooner, and B, that once the co-op listed with Compass, then he should have recused himself at that time.
That's what I think.
Okay.
I think that either that or just don't list with Compass.
So devil's advocate here,
Okay.
right? So judges are supposed to be impartial.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
And there should be no inherent conflict of interest.
Yes.
So, for example, I see, especially in Chatsworth all the time, there's cases, Capital One versus whomever, American Express versus whomever, right? If the judge has a Capital One card or an Amex card, but they are seeing those cases all the time, right? So that's not
Sure.
fair that they can't. Same thing with Toyota. Let's say that you represent a massive lawsuit against Toyota and you are, presiding over that lawsuit for 4 years. You can't buy a Lexus. So I think in the time, he's
No.
looking at me. I think in
No,
the
I get it.
timeline of things,
Yeah.
I think he did the right thing because once there was a potential conflict of interest or he wasn't able to be impartial or there was the propriety, like if you're looking at it and it looks impartial, then you have to recuse yourself, which I think he did the right thing at that point.
I also like to wonder if he actually negotiated a better deal when it came to what the guy had originally said when it came to the listing.
He probably didn't. He probably kept completely out of it, but people are going to
Sure.
look into this and he thought, you know what, I'm going to get slammed for this, so now this is the right time. So
Yep.
he did it.
Cool. Awesome. And
Oh, we
there's-
didn't really
there's-
get to fight and haggle.
Well, we don't have time.
Oh, well, fair enough. All right. Fine.
We can always pick this up after.
Good point.
You know?
Okay. Stay with us. We will be right back.
Yes, absolutely. Okay. Hey, welcome back to Real Estate and Other Stuff on KHTS 1220 AM and 98.1 FM and on Facebook Live. It's me, it's Taylor, it's Andrew, it's Carlos. It's just, it's a party. That's all I can say.
I agree.
Okay, so we talked about what we talked about towards the end, where I agree 100% with you. Wow. Okay, that makes sense. I mean, if I were to bring some other things up, I would kind of worry though if I had a judge that was
Well,
I don't know.
you can always ask. You can file a motion to get a different judge. That's in layman's terms. It's not what the motion is called. But if you're concerned that your judge is, not able to be impartial, you can file.
Yeah, it's kind of
to get another
weird
judge.
that somebody would sign a contract. I mean, I get the car thing, I get all of that stuff, but if somebody were to sign a contract with the company that that people are presiding over as the attorney and the other people, I would go, wait a minute, whoa, what?
It's a big company. I don't know.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true. I agree.
This is like if you try to argue with me, like poor Greg, like there's just no. It's very sad.
You know what I do is I retreat and then I go over to this side and I try this side. I try this door and then I come back and I try that door and they're all locked.
I know. I used to have a Post-it on my desk that said "Be nice." So my dad was like, "Are you being nice to your husband?" I'm like, "I think so, but like, let me double check."
Define nice.
Yeah, exactly. Poor Greg.
Okay, well, we've got another one we can talk about.
We do.
Yes.
Should we do a little?
I think so. It's time for Taylor Talk.
Hey guys and dolls, it's your favorite time of the show, Taylor Talk.
It's good stuff.
Yes,
So we've
absolutely.
been trying to talk about this for several weeks,
Yep.
and then the story keeps changing and changing. So
You know what's funny is because I posted a couple of times on Facebook,
on your Facebook, I saw
saying,
this.
hey, gang, if for some reason you sold a house between 2017 and the present, would you join a class action lawsuit that said that you could get the money back that you paid the selling realtor?
Some of your American dollars, yeah.
And I think a lot of people would because it's free money.
I think at least the feedback I saw on your Facebook was people want more information.
Yeah.
Right? They weren't initially like, yeah. It was
That's
like,
true.
wait a minute.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
And it's interesting that a lot of realtors did that.
Well, yeah, because
which
they
is-
want to know, wait a minute, is there something happening that I need to know about?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So let's bring everybody up to speed. The federal commission suit, now a class action. NAR, Realogy, vow to appeal. What's happened is this lawsuit is started out.
You want me to give you the wee
Yeah,
background?
would
'Cause-
you?
Yeah,
Would
I
you?
did because
Yeah,
I
you're
actually
the best.
I circled it because this how long is this article? This one was like 20 something. The one poor Michelle printed
I
last
killed-
week's like 100 and something.
Yeah, I killed half
Okay,
a tree with it.
so in 2019, home seller plaintiffs Joshua and Amy filed a lawsuit against NAR, Realogy, Remax, Keller Williams, and Home Services of America and its subsidiaries, blah, 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 alleging the sharing of commissions between listing and buyer brokers violates the Sherman Antitrust Act by inflating seller costs. Other plaintiffs, including we'll talk about the class action certification later joined the case. So, basically, it seeks to have home buyers pay their brokers directly rather than having listing brokers pay buyer brokers from what the seller pays the listing broker.
I have a million questions.
Okay, well, explain that to people that are listening that are like, what the heck?
Okay,
What does that even mean?
So
How does it work now?
Most people understand that when you actually call a realtor to sell your house.
Hi, Phil. I would like to sell my house.
Yes, absolutely. I'll be more than happy to. This is what I can do for you, by the way. They say, how much is the commission? And we say, okay, this is a commission. And we say, oh, that's great. And I agree to pay the selling office, whatever my commission is, I agree to pay the selling office 2.5% of what I make.
Okay.
So let's just say it's 5%. They get 2.5%. I get 2.5%.
Would that be EXP in this situation?
No,
or who
no.
would
It's
it be?
just no. It depends on.
Because you're selling.
I'm selling.
Okay.
I'm the selling realtor.
Right.
Actually, I'm the listing realtor.
There we go.
Okay, I'm the listing realtor.
Got it.
So I list the house. I say, let's just say for round numbers, 4 or 5%, whatever it is. It's never 6 anymore. So if anybody goes, oh, they charge you 6%, they don't.
That's
Nobody
high.
charges 6 anymore.
Yeah.
Okay, it's either 5%, 4%, whatever. So anyway, out of that money that goes to the listing realtor, the listing realtor has to agree to pay the selling broker, right, which is the one that comes and brings the offer,
Got it.
a certain amount.
Okay.
You never want to actually dismiss that or give them little or nothing because, unfortunately, That's how they make their money.
That's their incentive.
So they actually
to-
look at it and they say, oh, it's 2.5%. If it was like $100, they'd go, even though they should show it,
Right.
but
They're not
who's
gonna be as
going to get?
excited.
Well,
Yeah.
who's going to actually put themselves on the line for $100, right? And open themselves to a lawsuit and do all this work. So there has to be remuneration. And so usually what happens is
Good word.
if you sign a contract and let's say it's 5%, you agree to give the selling office, which is confusing because even though you're selling the house,
That's what
you're
I'm
the
saying.
listing office.
That's-
Give the selling office 2.5%,
Okay.
and you post it. Right?
Yeah, it's all this is disclosed.
Absolutely.
Right.
So nobody's is like being tricked or anything. The only time somebody gets tricked is sometimes they don't tell you how much they're going to give the listing office, even though they're supposed to write it in the contract, and then they give them less money.
Okay.
Which is not a good thing.
Right.
But that's the way it's worked for years.
So these plaintiffs are saying, no, 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 no. You, by doing this, it's basically collusion. You are creating, it's violating antitrust laws.
Yep.
So it's not fair to me because I have no choice, right? If I'm going to use you, amazing agent, which I want to, I have no choice but to agree to this fee split, and I'm going to have to pay a certain amount of money because that's just what you guys all do, and it's a conspiracy.
It's a conspiracy.
It's
so
in layman's terms, right?
so two people started, right? And then it was two people, and then another two people brought it in, and all of a sudden they went, okay, you know what? If this is the way it's going to happen, let's do a
Right.
class action because obviously there's going to be plenty of people that are going to want money back.
And that's a huge deal.
Yep. Now, here's my question to you. The first thing is NAR is being sued because they're saying basically that they're telling the MLSs, look, you need to actually, if you put something in the MLS, you need to offer a selling office
Right,
commission.
this needs to be included.
or a total.
Right.
It's either a percentage or a total. Okay,
Right.
so they're suing the NAR for that. They're suing Keller Williams because Keller Williams has proven to where in their training manuals, they're saying, hey, guess what? It's easy to get a buyer because you're getting the buyer for free. And so you tell them, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, let me sell you a house. You're going to be my professional. It's not going to cost you a dime, which they're saying is misleading.
Right.
Okay. But that's what it says in Realogy's training manuals, especially Keller Williams. Keller Williams is the one that they're really, they've got it in writing and everything, and they're saying that's wrong. So here's my thing to you.
Okay.
If they win, let's just say, okay, let's just say they win. What do? Do they go back and they say, okay, since 2017,
Right.
there have been this many sales, and do they go after the realtor that got the money and has spent it and it's all gone? Do they go after the broker and they say, okay, you owe us all that money? Because the broker will actually say, okay, so that's a bad thing, all right? But out of the $16,000 that was paid to the selling realtor, we only got $2,000. Right? So how much do they have to pay? So
Right.
I'm confused with exactly how it's going to go down. And last point that I want to make is
compound question.
something
Right.
that actually
1,
went down
2, 3.
in Washington saying, okay, so anybody can put in whatever they want in the MLS. You don't have to actually offer a selling office commission. But they said that still, after the couple years that it's happened, 93% of sellers still put in the same commission
Right.
for a selling agent because they want to pay a selling agent.
Right.
Because they want to
You
get as many
want-
offers as possible.
Right.
And they want to have a professional on the other
offers.
side.
Exactly.
Right. Okay. So
Exactly.
so now that I put that out there, who pays who? What happens? Is that all they're trying to get? Is so that you can? I don't know. I'm confused.
Yeah. If this were a deposition, I'd be so angry with you because there's so many questions in there. I'd be like, Okay, so first of all, when you
I'll
have...
get comfortable.
Thank you. No, I'll be brief because I do this with Greg all the time, and his eyes glaze over at like a certain period of time, so I'll try to avoid that. So the first big thing is that there's a class. They are certified as a class, so that's a big deal. So a class action lawsuit is super, super different versus like me and Andrew suing you, right? Okay. Sorry. I just
You're
felt
not,
like
are
we
you?
should- we haven't talked about it, but
We'll talk about that.
I'm sure we could come up with something creative.
Something, absolutely.
So it basically it changes everything. There's a lot more minutia that has to get done, right? So your big question now is about damages, and that's a great question. Have you ever gotten one of those postcards? Well, it first usually starts out with a one-page letter. If you bought a shoe from Steve Madden between, because this is just a recent one that I got, this time and this time, you can do nothing, and then you're part of the class. If you do not want to be part of the class, and if you want to get your own lawyer, you have to fill out this piece of paper and then send it in. Have you ever gotten those?
Yep.
Before? Most people look at it and are like, woo, I'm going to get, $1, right? And so you do nothing. And then you do usually like 6, 9, 12 months later, you get a check for I don't know. I think I got one for Capital One that was like 27 cents or something.
Wow.
I got
Good
one
for
from
you.
Steve Madden. I think that was like 200 and something bucks, which I'm like, woohoo.
Whoa.
So that's kind of how it works in the sense that all of these people that have been so and so damaged are going to get a certain amount of money, right? That's going to be evenly
Dispersed.
among the class, depending on the percentage of what they paid, right? So now your other question of who pays it. Great question. And I do not know the answer to that. I do know that you have the named defendants, right? And they are going to be the ones that are responsible to pay the damages. How they are going to pay it? Great question. If they can seek indemnity from, so let's say it's Keller Williams, but they want to get it from a certain broker, they may be able to do that, right? That's stuff on the back end that wouldn't necessarily be disclosed in the lawsuit. Maybe it would, maybe it wouldn't. So there's a lot of, it's like a duck on top with the feet
With the
underneath.
feet going, yeah.
Yeah.
So is it possible that they actually go down to further from just the broker, asking the broker to give us the money back all the way down to the agents, because the agents got the most amount of money?
Is it possible? Yeah. Is it likely? No.
Yeah.
But again, I mean, we don't do class action lawsuits in my firm, so.
So if
disclaimer.
for some reason this goes through in Missouri, which they said could be as much as $1 billion, right? If that does go through, then obviously we're going to be seeing commercials on the television saying, "Hey, were you wronged by having to pay a selling office realtor? Please join
You're
this
gonna-
class action lawsuit, and you can join in and get 75 cents."
Anybody that's been affected or impaired, if you will, would get one of those types of letters. So yeah, but it's not like you see asbestos or like the talcum powder type stuff, right? Those are, there was a PI case in which somebody got a lot of money in damages. So now lawyers are like, okay, well anybody that has used baby powder and got cancer,
yes, I was gonna ask you that, yeah.
So that's a little bit different because there wasn't a class action lawsuit against the maker of baby powder, right? It was one individual. So it's very different here, where we're talking about one thing with all of these individuals that have been affected by it. So that's the difference.
One last question on this, and I find it very funny, is in the same day I will see one commercial for a product that's actually out there selling. Let's say it's that weed killer or whatever it is. Buy this, it's a great weed killer.
For sure.
And the same day I'll see that there's a class action lawsuit against said weed killer. Same actual weed killer, but there's a commercial selling it, and there's a commercial. Unbelievable.
I mean, they probably changed the formula between now and whenever they got sued, right?
Oh,
So,
God dang it, you're smart.
thanks.
I like that. No,
That's what I would assume.
That's exciting.
Yeah, it makes
I
sense.
love having you here.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, if anybody wants to read it, it is the minutia. It's a lot. It's really complicated. I think it's really interesting, but again, I
fascinating.
do the Greg glaze eye test, and so at a certain point in time, I'm like, all right, we're done. So that's the gist of it. So this would have a massive impact on the real estate industry if this actually goes through, is granted, and then other states and whatnot follow suit.
Yep. Hey, do you ever hear about people saying, you know what, if things don't change, I'm going to move to Canada?
All the time.
Well, guess what? The average Canadian home.
No.
Oh,
Not to Canada because of what you're about to just say. Canada scares the you-know-what out about me. No, like Texas or Florida or Arkansas or...
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if you decided that you wanted to move to Canada,
Don't do it.
the average Canadian home now costs double what it does here in the U.S.
I'm not surprised.
Double.
Do you ever watch HGTV?
Double.
Do you ever watch HGTV or House Hunters or any of those shows? Anyone in here? No, just me because I'm a weirdo. And they're on at 3 a.m., which is when I'm awake. They're all in Canada. And they're like, oh, yeah, we're looking at this, we want a 3-bedroom house. And it's like $3.2 million. And I'm like, what is happening? It's so expensive. It's crazy.
It is. Between 2020 and
surprised.
2022, Canadian home prices have surged 30%, an increase described as nothing short of stunning by economists Robert Hogue in a report for the Royal Bank of Canada. Fascinating. But you know what?
Say
Here's...
house.
Yeah, house. Is nothing short of stunning. As of February 2022, the average Canadian home was $816,000.
Mind-boggling. That's crazy.
Yeah, up from $646,000. 9 times. What is really interesting? This is 9 times the average annual household income.
You know what? It's probably not. They just don't want any Americans going up there. So right? You guys are all nodding. Like they probably just it's fake news, but we are scared enough that we're not going to investigate.
They say that since 2020, the average home price here is $375,000.
Okay, I was wondering. That was going to be one of my
Yeah.
questions.
Yeah, that's fascinating.
Compared to 800,000. Yeah, I'm not. I mean, we're already sad that you're moving to Texas. That's far enough, but. At least I know now you're not going to move to Canada. I would be very sad.
No, absolutely. Okay, hey, guess what? We
What?
need to sell some televisions.
Let's do it. Take a little
Yep,
break. We'll
all
be
right.
back.
Yes, hey, we are flying here. Welcome back to Real Estate and Other Stuff on KHTS 1220 AM and 98.1 FM and on Facebook Live. It's me, it's Taylor, it's Andrew, it's Carlos, it's everybody.
Greg will
We're
be
all
happy
here.
that you said we're flying.
Yes.
You're just all over it today. And you're not even meaning to. It's good stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. You meant to.
Oh, I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you wouldn't have told me, I would have never known.
I know.
Hey,
But I got you. What?
Didn't you love Betty White?
Yes.
Betty-
She was such an animal lover, and I love that.
She.
So you know my
what a-
crazy dogs.
What what a nice lady, right?
Definitely.
Betty White's beloved Brentwood home of more than 50 years listed for $10.5 million. So we'll go see it. And, the impressive thing about the house isn't that impressive, but it's on a big.
I looked at that.
It's on a half an acre. Half an acre there. Okay, Betty White's long-time home in the Brentwood neighborhood of Los Angeles is on the market for. It's been on the market for 4 months. After the actress is dead at 99, which means it really is. Most people would love to buy something like that, but usually it really is overpriced if for
That's
some reason.
high. 10.5 for I think it's
Yeah,
like 3,000
Betty
square
White can only
feet.
pull down so much.
Yeah.
The 1952 home, which is more than 3,000 square feet, has a 5-bedroom, 6 baths. It's listed for $10.5 million.
Yep.
By Pacific Palisades brokerage Sotheby's. The Hollywood legend and her late husband, Alan Ludden, bought the property in 1968. Betty White's Carmel, California beach house of 40 years sells for nearly $3 million over asking, right? So they listed the obvious families,
Right.
selling everything.
Yeah.
That sold for $3 million over, which was gorgeous, right? But the couple purchased the home for its proximity to the Hollywood studios and its private setting. The 2-story home includes a sunroom where the actress reportedly enjoyed the view of the yard. Oh, that sounds like realtor talk.
And Brentwood isn't really close to the studios. Greg and I are Brentwood adjacent. Like literally, we walk 2 blocks every Sunday not every Sunday, but to the Brentwood Farmers Market.
I mean,
you're not really that.
Maybe
It's a great location.
Maybe they're talking about CBS there. CBS
Maybe.
Is that still open?
I think,
there?
yeah, I think, and there's Sony. But I mean, you're still like, it's miles. It's
Sure,
not,
absolutely.
In LA, that can take you an hour.
What else does it have? She enjoyed the view of the yard, which features flowered-filled garden beds.
I mean, a
old
yard's a
growth,
big deal.
and a swimming pool. It's got a swimming pool, right?
That's important.
But the biggest thing is it's got 3/4 of an acre.
Yeah, which
That's
is nice.
what's that's so probably somebody will buy it and either they'll tear it down to like one weight-bearing wall and then start from scratch to
Right.
make it like a remodel,
A remodel.
to where they don't have to pay as many taxes on it. It also includes a 3-car garage and a guest house, but that's a big lot, which is awesome.
Especially in that area.
Anyway, if that's something that you want to do, she bought it with Alan Ludden. Remember Alan Ludden? Well,
I
you wouldn't
do.
remember.
No,
Al-
I do it because I know her. So I've since researched him, but no, independently I did not know.
Got it. I thought he died before you were born.
Yeah, but I know who he is because of her.
I know. I get it.
Yeah.
That was a joke.
Alas, I don't think Marla's gonna say that 10.5 is a good idea for Greg Goog and I.
Well, we,
At least at this juncture.
we might have to get creative.
No, it's a hard no.
How about a 750-year payback instead of 30 years?
Okay.
Yep.
I'm good,
Bring
but
it down.
yeah.
Okay, so
next one I love.
How about this?
I've had experience with this, so I'm.
Oh, really?
Yes, I'm here for this
Oh,
article.
I almost didn't put this in and actually ask you a question about it to see if you'd be interested.
Oh,
so
yeah, this
we're
is
going to be
good.
seeing homes. However, would you consider this? There is a home in Fairfax, Virginia.
This would not fly in California.
Sold this month.
Yeah.
Okay, it's sold, by the way, just to show you how crazy the market is. Even though it comes with an unusual feature, a stranger living in the basement. Is that a problem?
No, wait. Andrew's shaking his head.
Yeah,
No,
what?
no, this is so good.
Yeah.
No, this is so good.
Yeah. The 5-bedroom, 4-bathroom house sold for $805,000 to an unnamed buyer on April 15th. Public records show. Listing agent Zinta Rogers Rickert of Remax Gateway said the home received 5 cash offers and closed less than a week after it was listed. The weird thing about the listing agreement, it says, hey, look, guess what? Acknowledgement that the home will convey with person or persons living in a lower level with no lease in place.
Okay, stop there.
Yes.
That's fine. If you advertise it as tenant occupied, people, that's not real sexy right now in California, right? As you know.
Yep.
But so the next sentence is where I die. But
Yep.
this one, okay, fine. I'm going to take it. There's a tenant, not super happy. I'm going to have to evict them. But go
But
on,
it
dear
also
sir.
says, and this is in capital letters, no access to see the lower level. So if you buy it, you can do a physical inspection on the property, but guess what? You ain't going
can't
downstairs.
go down there.
You can't go to the basement, which would freak me out.
Stop.
Right?
Yeah.
I just can't go to the basement. 2 days after the home was listed, the Instagram account Zillow Gone Wild posted it, noting that it came with specific clause with the purchase price. The post garnered 35,000 likes and comments from users speculating about the idea of one of the basement tenant and poking fun at the unusual circumstances of the sale. People were posting stuff like 800,000 for 5-bedroom, 4-bath, and your own serial killer. Okay, how about this?
So
Is the basement haunted? Feels like the basement is haunted, another said.
Right?
Before the sale closed, Roger Rickard told the New York Post that the seller was an elderly man who was ill in the hospital and who had offered the basement dweller a place to stay 3 years ago
This happens all the
after
time.
she cleaned his house and convinced him that she needed a place to stay. So this man was extremely nice.
Yeah, you can stay with me, in the back room or whatever. And then these people don't leave. I'm serious. I have
No.
evictions and stuff like this all the time.
So he offered her the
But
basement.
you sold the house with you can't go down there or touch, I'm dying.
That's
I
funny.
would not buy.
So he offered her the basement, but then she never left.
Nope.
And
that happens.
And she does not pay rent. Okay, so the agent told the Post that the man's family was hoping to sell the home before he died because he didn't have a will, and that they didn't have the money to hire a lawyer to work on the eviction.
Those darn lawyers. And they're expensive.
So what would happen is I buy the house, realizing that I sign all of those things, and then I call you and say,
Yeah, we got to evict them.
actually, probably what I would do first is I would go down there and talk to her and say, obviously you knew it was sold, and obviously we can't have you stay.
Do like a cash for keys
Yeah,
type
cash for keys,
situation.
which would-
we
which-
always suggest that. You know what's interesting though, really quickly, because I know we're running out of time. At the end of the article, it says to claim squatters' rights in Virginia, a person has to live in a place for 15 years and not hide the fact that they're living there. Which I think is interesting. I mean, California, you can be a tenant if you're there for a month and you receive one piece of mail, even if you've never paid to live there. Like California tenant laws are insanely tenant friendly.
It's so funny because that was a question that I had
Yeah.
for you. Is that the same
answer
here?
is no. It is not the same here. That's wild to me.
You almost sound like you were from Canada.
no,
there.
no, the house.
No, the house.
Yeah.
Guess what? We have 1 minute.
It's sad.
It goes way too quick.
Well, everyone's going to now want to call you to list their house with
Yes.
or without the basement
Without-
dweller. So how do
yes.
they find you?
All they have to do is call me at 661.
You're listening to
Who are you listening to? I'm listening to
661.
you. Yeah, call me at 661
Here we go.
312 3561, or you can get me at philnordella.com.
Awesome.
How about you?
dywlaw.com or 661-259-9000.
And how do we send 9-month birthday presents to Cameron?
Just, you don't. Just
Oh.
think good thoughts for him. Sleepy thoughts. We sleep
He's
through the night.
adorable.
He
Every
is.
time you send me something, I go, "Oh my
He's a
God,
good
he's
kid,
so
I know.
adorable."
And Andrew, thank you.
Yes,
Yeah, guys,
Andrew,
I'm gonna
you're
come
the
back more
best.
now.
Will you?
I like the show.
Please?
Yeah, we're fun.
He
For
likes
sure.
the show.
You have no idea what's going to happen.
High five. He likes the show. Yay.
And with that, everybody have a great weekend. We will
Yes.
see you next week.
Yes, hopefully we will.